Hey guys, welcome back to Bourbon and Smoke. Today we're going to be doing some lamb blade chops. So first thing we're going to do is add some olive oil. Just give everything a nice coating right on top. We're going to have some that drips down to the bottom as well. That's fine. This is a marinade, so we want a little bit of that to kind of coat the whole thing. Then we're going to go ahead and add our salt. It's about half a tablespoon of salt, excuse me. And we're just going to dribble that over here. So this salt is going to be for, this recipe basically is going to be for 2 blade chops. So it's going to be a little extra salty on the top here, but we're going to flip them around, we're going to move that salt around. Same thing with the pepper, about a half tablespoon of pepper. Get that all in there. And then we're going to add a full tablespoon of rosemary. Once that's all finished up, we're going to add in 3 cloves of garlic, 3 whole cloves. Alright, so once you have all the garlic peeled and everything, we're just going to chop it up. You don't need to go real fine, but just enough to give us a few more pieces rather than just these giant big chunks here. So, and then once you have all that chopped up, I'm just going to go ahead and lay that in there. Now we're going to mix everything in. So again, we're going to be real heavy in salt and pepper on the one side here. Want to make sure we're getting some of that on the other side. Mixing up the garlic. You can see just how tender this meat is. Like right now it's just falling apart. And this is at just below refrigerator temperature. So it is not going to be a tough meat by any means. All right, once you got all that mixed up, we're gonna throw a cover on this, throw it in the fridge for a couple hours, and then we're gonna set the smoker to actually as low as your smoker can go. What we wanna do is just put some smoke on this because these are so thin. We don't want to get overly, we don't want to get over the top of the heat. Really, we just want to put some smoke on it. We don't really want to cook it a whole lot because the sear when we throw it on the black stone is going to do all that for us. See you guys in a bit. All right, so we got the grill up to 150, 151-ish degrees. And like I said, we're just going to set these on here. You can also do this even with a grill if you have like a little cold smoking tube. Show you what one of those looks like in a minute here, but really you just want to go as low as possible, get as much surface area, get this spread out, and just allow it to absorb as much smoke as possible. So we're going to leave this on here about a half an hour. I'm going to come check it in 15 minutes or so just to make sure we're not cooking faster than I think we should be. Ultimately, the cook is really going to happen on the black stone. This is just heating it up a little bit on the inside and getting a little bit of flavor on there. So this is what I was talking about when I was referring to a cold smoke tube. You can use this on any grill or really anything that has a cover on it. Just basically stuff this full of pellets or half full, however much you want, and then you light them on fire and they slowly kind of burn. This is really good for doing cheese or anything that you're going to be what's considered cold smoking. One thing to think about though is if you do have the thermal cover on these grills, on the Green Mountains I know for example, and you use this, you will actually get to a point where you will melt cheese. So if you're going to be doing cold smoking cheese or anything like that, do it on a grill or something that's really not going to be taking in as much heat or holding as much heat, excuse me, as these thermal covers actually do. So, good tip. All right, so they've been smoking for about a half an hour now. So I'm going to pull them. Blackstone is good and about as hot as it's going to get. So throw them on here, give them a quick sear, pull them off. We're going to be done with it. So at this point, really, we want to go about 30 seconds to a minute aside. because they are so thin. The inside of these is already going to be at about 115 to 120 degrees. So we really don't have to move a whole lot internal temp. A little garlic on there. Another hot spot here. You can see we got a nice sear up in here. Fat is starting to melt off. Gonna go just a couple more seconds on the side. Yeah, I think that should be good. Pull them off. We're gonna let them rest for a few minutes just to redistribute those juices and let them finish cooking. And we'll give them a try. All right, so today we're gonna be trying Wild Turkey Rare Breed. This is a full barrel proof, 116.8. I've heard wonderful things about this. I think I may have had it once a long time ago, maybe with the brother-in-law, but I found a really good deal on it. This was like 37 bucks. Found it up in northern Minnesota. Everywhere down here where I live, it's around 45 to sometimes 50 bucks. So definitely barrel proof. Got that wild turkey smell to it. All I'm getting on the nose right now, at least, is just that high proof. I'm gonna take a drink and then we're gonna try it with something. Ooh, really warm cinnamon. It really tingled. I mean, it's warm. I mean, the 116 proof is no joke. That is really good. Potent. But we're gonna try something real quick. Be right back. One thing that I found with a few of these really high-proofed bourbons is take your finger, dip it in a little water, and just put a couple drops in there. Now, give it a smell. Changes the whole complexity of it. It takes that like alcohol, ethanol, it just cuts that out. It's amazing the difference. Now I get like a cinnamon and a caramel and it's a much nicer nose. It's not as up in your face with the ethanol. It's hard to pick out any other flavors, really, because I'm not great at that by any means. Doesn't really change the flavor a whole lot. Let me take a drink of water first. Now I'll try it. It doesn't change it as much as some of the other ones had. That Jack Daniel's single barrel that we had tried with the brother-in-law, that was a perfect example of it completely changes the flavor of it. It went from not really having a whole lot of flavor that I could pick up on, drop water in there, take a drink of water, and all of a sudden it was like a campfire. This is really good. It's too much for me to be able to really kind of dissect and say, pick out certain flavors. There's a lot going on, I should say. There's too much complexity for my palate to be able to pick out. Other than right away, I get that burst of really warm cinnamon and sugar maybe, and some caramel along with it. But I'm having a hard time picking out any other specific flavors. The complexity of it is delicious. This is one of the best bourbons I've had. I'm really happy that I decided to pick it up. Ooh, now that time I got a little, almost chocolate on the back end. Anyway, yeah, definitely, if you find a bottle, especially if you find it cheap, this is definitely worth it at retail, you know, my retail price, 45 bucks. But if you find it cheaper than that, even better, because this is a definite good one to have around. This is perfect for like a nice Friday night, like end of your long week kind of cap. It's got enough to calm you down. Anyway, cheers to you guys. Let's go eat some lamb. All right, so we've let it rest for about 5 minutes now. Let's cut into this and see how we did. So in the middle, still pink. I think we got a pretty good cook on that. I'd say it's pretty close to medium rare. Cut a little piece off the bone here. Give it a try. Other than the bone, it is so juicy and tender. You just get that, just a hint of a smoke on it. Kind of takes a little bit of the gaminess away from lamb. But this is so good. Can't wait to have the kid try it when she gets home. But this is, oh, that is amazing. And that is, I mean, that's a perfect cook. That is absolutely delicious. Tender, juicy. 10 out of 10 would do again. If you guys get a chance to do this at home, definitely take a shot at it. It's worth every minute. The marinade, you can taste the olive oil in there. The salt and pepper is like perfectly balanced. It's not overly seasoned one way or the other. And that rosemary on top it just adds just exactly what lamb needs. I don't know what it is about lamb, that rosemary just, it finishes it. It does something with the flavor of the meat, and it just completes it. So, anyway, that's it for me, guys. Remember, do like, comment, and subscribe, please. It helps me out. And I will see you guys in the next one. Take it easy.